Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call the September 4th, 2012 meeting of the Yukon City Council to order. If you would rise for the invocation by Councilman Rick Opitz and remain standing for the flag salute, please.
Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings that you've given our city and our council. And Lord, in your word, you say that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. Father, I speak life over our city. I speak life over our council. And Lord, our words are powerful and they're weighty. So let our words tonight that we speak be spoken with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But also, Lord, let them be seasoned with the salt of your precious Holy Spirit. And Lord, again, thank you for the blessings that you give us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Gerba.
Here.
McCarran. Here. Opitz.
Here.
At this time, we have a public hearing that will be held to solicit input from citizens regarding the smoke-free, tobacco-free resolution. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council about this matter? Yes, sir. If you'd come forward to the podium, give us your name and your address.
Bill Howell, 805 Garden Grove in Yukon. I just wanted to thank you for having it up because about 20, 30 years ago I took a little girl over to a park over on Holly, South Holly there, and smokers there, and I had to complain, but it didn't never do no good. I thought maybe before I die it'll happen.
Well, here it is. We're glad you could be a part of it, sir. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Anyone else like to address the council?
Mitzi Maddox, 4921 Smoking Oaks Drive. I just would like to say I'm with the Yukon Coalition. I work with kids and students, and we have a SWAT team. One of them is here tonight, but the other students couldn't be here for various other activities, and we just want you to know that we support making our public places tobacco-free so that our kids and students can be healthier, but also so their parents and grandparents and friends and family, you know, just the whole community, and the medical costs that it would save us. I mean, there's just all kinds of things you could list to benefit, but just the kids' health and fire safety right now. But I mean, you know, like I said, the list could go on, but we want you to know that we support our public places being tobacco-free.
Thank you. Mitzi, tell us what the SWAT team is.
It's students working against tobacco, and they have different activities that they do every month. Sometimes it's maybe a training on some of the tobacco statistics. And now that I'm up here, I can't even think. I should have written it down. But there's a high percentage of underage students that smoke, especially between 7th and 12th grade. And that's something that our kids have really mentioned year after year. And it's not just smoking tobacco, but also chewing tobacco. And now our tobacco companies make things that look like Tic Tacs, and it's nicotine in Tic Tac looking form. So they could be, you know, sitting in the audience and you think they've put a Tic Tac in their mouth, only it's really a nicotine-based capsule, or not capsule, Tic Tac looking thing. I'm sorry. So I mean, there's just lots of different ways that we feel like the tobacco industry is trying to target our kids and get them hooked on tobacco of some sort or nicotine as early as possible. And then, you know, it's hard to kick. It's hard to beat that. And so we would like to prevent them from starting.
Thank you. And I don't mean to keep putting you on the spot, but a couple of things. Tell us about Yukon Coalition. And I know that you all participated nationally and did really well in the last year.
We found out, last year we received a drug-free communities grant, and it's, for 5 years, and so every February we submit a continuation application to keep the money going for that 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, we can't get any more drug-free communities grants monies, but the idea is at the end of that money, we would be self-sufficient in and we do different things to get to that point. But our mission is to just engage kids and show them how they can have fun and do cool things and stay free of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. We also work with prescription drugs. I don't know if everybody here knows, but at the end of June, we got a prescription drug drop box put in our police, in the lobby of our new police station. And, you know, that's just another way to limit access to minors and, you know, really anybody who shouldn't be using somebody else's prescription drugs. We do things like we had Battle of the Bands. The City of Yukon Parks works with us and helps us get the park set up, and our different bands come, and each band has to have at least one Yukon student in it to participate. And I mean, first prize gets $300 to share among their band members, and the police officers come, and you just kind of patrol and make sure nobody brought alcohol or, you know, smoking or doing anything like that. And Rumbles come the last 2 years, which has brought more younger kids from the community to that event, and so that's been fun and different. And we also work at the Capitol. Like Thursday, we're taking a group of students to the Capitol, and we're presenting at an interim study, and that one's about alcohol. And then they've asked us to come back in October and do a different one, and it's about tobacco. So they go to the we visit the Capitol, and we participate in the legislative process that way. And
How many kids are in your group now?
well, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you since there's only one here tonight, but there's about 25 that come regularly, and then we've got probably another 25 that come real sporadically. So,
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the great example that those kids set and the hard work. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Anyone else here that would like to offer something regarding this pending resolution that we're considering?
You'll have to excuse me. I didn't think I was coming tonight, but my daughter is here for a school function, and she kind of just brought me in. But I'm glad that
What's your name and your address?
she did. My name is Laura Goodner, and I live at 212 Choctaw Place. And me being a smoker, I started very young. And I think that this is a great, great thing that y'all are doing. And I think it's a great thing that she is doing at the school, because making it more aware for the children to not, you know, make it so if they don't look around and see it, if it's not in front of their face, if they know that it's not something that they should be doing, where back in my time, the parents are like, oh, it's not that bad, you know, oh, we're doing it everywhere. They're doing it in restaurants, they're doing it in bars, you know, they're doing it at the parks, they're doing it here, they're doing it there. I don't smoke in my house, you know. I don't think that you should, and I'm trying to quit, and it's very, very hard. It is very addictive. It is very addictive, and I tell my kids all the time, and I think this is amazing, and I just hope that it really goes through, because, you know, it doesn't need to be around the kids. It doesn't need to be around people that don't smoke. I mean, it's just because we smoke, nobody else needs to.
Thank you, ma'am. And you come anytime. It doesn't matter what you look like. You look fine. Come on down. Anyone else that'd like to come before the council and address the issue? Okay. Seeing nothing further, then we'll proceed to the presentations or proclamations. No presentations or proclamations this evening. Next part is the visitor section. So if someone is here to address the council about a non-agenda item, not including the tobacco-free issue, but about another item, would they come forward, give us their name, their address, and state their business, please?
Hi, I'm Jeannie Vinson. I'm working with the Relight the Mill Committee. We're having a big electronic recycling event Saturday, September the 15th. If it runs on batteries or it runs off of electricity, we'll take it. Now, we are gonna charge a $5 recycling fee for televisions, but anything else that's electronic, we'll take. If you got more than you can haul, we'll come get it. So, you can call me if you like, or you can call, Community Ed, and, we'll hook you up and get all that stuff gone out of your closets and the garage and off the shelves that you need gone. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other visitors? Visitors? Seeing no other visitors, will recess as the Yukon City Council and reconvene as the Yukon Municipal Authority. First item is 1A, the YMA consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so that the Yukon Municipal Authority by unanimous consent can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion to approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 21st, 2012, and B, the payment of material claims in the amount of $19,646.76. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Opitz,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Gerba.
Yes.
At this time, we'll adjourn as YMA and reconvene as the Yukon City Council. The first item is number 1, the consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon City Council by unanimous consent can designate those routine items that wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all council members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 21st, 2012, B, the payment of material claims in the amount of $876,252.08, excuse me, C, the renewal of the existing agreement for services between the City of Yukon and the Yukon Chamber for a period of July the 1st, 2012 through June the 30th, 2013 at a cost of $1,500 per month plus a sales tax incentive. D, the renewal of the existing Parks and Recreation Department operations lease agreement with the United Softball Association of Yukon for the use of Sunrise Park from September the 10th, 2012 through October the 19th, 2012. E, the renewal of the existing Parks and Recreation Department operation lease agreement with Yukon Optimist Sports Club for the use of the Community Center football field from August the 15th, 2012 through December the 15th, 2012. F, the renewal of the existing Parks and Recreation Department operations lease agreement with the Stage Door for the use of the WIMAC building from August the 15th, 2012 through August the 15th, 2013. G, Resolution 2012-8, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, adopting the operating budget for the fiscal year. H, designating the items on the attached list for the Technology Department as surplus and authorizing their sale and donation or trade. I, setting the date of the next regular council meeting for September the 18th, 2012, 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the Central Building, 12 South 5th Street, Yukon, Oklahoma.
I'd like to make a motion to approve separating item C for further discussion.
I have a motion to approve all except for C. C will be pulled for further discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alberts,
Yes.
Gerba,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Opitz,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
The remaining item on the consent docket is C. Mr. Do I need a motion? Need a motion for approval before I discuss? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve item C.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Smith.
Yes. I had some questions regarding the contract with the Yukon Chamber of Commerce. I know we've discussed a number of different options in previous months as to how we should handle our business with the Yukon Chamber, which I believe is an important relationship between that organization and the city, and we should certainly continue to work together to benefit as far as our economic development goes. The way this reads, you know, we have the monthly proposed dollar amount, and then a sales tax incentive that is only specified for the Shop Yukon program, which is fantastic. It's that is an event that the increased sales tax is not. I mean, it's easy for us to track and verify. My question is, based on previous discussions, there were other economic development efforts made by the chamber, and I'm curious as to why we would separate those from the sales tax incentive, as long as, say, the chamber, if we had a monthly report of contacts, for example, of businesses they were working to bring to Yukon, why would those types of efforts not also be rewarded by the sales tax incentive? And if so, let's say hypothetically, the chamber was able to bring in a major restaurant franchise, that brought in $5 million a year in sales tax. Do we then use this same percentage formula to give the chamber 33% of that large of a coup? I mean, that doesn't seem realistic to me, although there should be some reward for the effort. So I'm curious as to how we in the future, I can see a brick wall in our future in the relationship between the city and the chamber if some formula for that type of benefit is not reached. We may not be able to do it on this year's agreement with the chamber, but I'm curious as to why that isn't part of this agreement that we're about to vote on.
First of all, the reason it's not is funding source. This is an agreement that is paid from the general fund of the city. Those efforts which you have spoken of would relate to expansion and of retention and expansion of existing businesses in particular, which would be paid from the hotel motel tax rather than from the general fund. First, and then secondly, we must have something that is defendable. Defendable in that we must be able to measure it.
Right.
Contacts are somewhat subjective. Do they lead to a positive end? So we have chosen to go with something that is defendable and can be measured, which is a particular sales tax. As far as moving forward, this is a one-year agreement.
Right.
1 year. So any changes that can be made, whether it be to incentive payments or not, should be addressed in future years. The other thing is that what if we get a company that writes down on a letter to council that it is only through the efforts of the Chamber of Commerce that they located within the city limits of Yukon, not just a Yukon address, but within the city limits of Yukon. The fact of the matter is that if we are expected, as most of the time we are, to provide incentives, whether they be in infrastructure or in sales tax sharing to acquire retailers that will ultimately build the tax base of our city, we cannot afford to pay the chamber an incentive payment and pay the company a payment as well.
Well, certainly not 33% like is proposed for the shop Yukon, and that's what I was kind of getting towards. If there is some verifiable effort, would that then produce a payment for the chamber of a smaller percentage paid from?
Very well could, but that
hotel
has
motel tax. It would
very well
set
could
aside for economic development.
very well could, Councilman, but it has not been negotiated. We, working with the management of the chamber, decided that this was an appropriate way to approach it. I think that if you look at the amount based on last year's sales, that you will find that it comes up to $30,000.
Yes, actually, that
And
would be
if
something.
and if you then apply a growth rate for the chamber that would equal what sales tax has grown over the last year, and say that sales will additionally grow by that same amount, it amounts to a $1,200 increase or $31,200. So that's how we got to this point for this year.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Opitz?
I like it. I like what I see here. I don't have any comment about it except I like it.
Anyone else? I have a couple questions. I'd like, what's the formula for 2012?
The formula.
Well, you're going to pay them 33%.
So you take total sales within the city limits times 0.04 times 0.13 times 0.33. I'm sorry. And also remember that included in this contract, never before, they're paying us back rent on the building that they occupy in the amount of $375 a month.
Okay, for the month, what months?
It's beginning in July.
The rent begins in July.
No, I'm sorry, I'm worried, I'd like to know the formula for the 33%. So it's 04 times 33 for what, how many days?
Well, you take the sales attributed to those merchants that are enrolled in Shop Yukon.
Okay, when does that start?
It has already started.
Well, the enrollment has.
Yeah, the enrollment has already started.
Not the sales.
Okay, but when does the program,
Usually around the middle of November. Paisley.
It starts December 16th, and it's
Name
going,
and
I'm
your-
sorry.
sorry, Paisley,
I'm sorry.
we know you, but,
Paisley Hopkins, Executive Director, Yukon Chamber of Commerce,
thank you.
510 Elm. We are enrolling people right now, and we will start November 2nd. We kick off the very first weekend in November. We run all the way through November to December 16th. And just like Grayson said, we will count the sales of the people who are enrolled and calculate the tax dollars for that much money through those days.
Okay, so are the merchants required to keep, how do you keep track from November the 2nd
Sure.
through the 16th?
We have tickets that we disperse. When you join Shop Yukon as a merchant, you get a certain number of ticket rolls. They start with 2,000, and as they go, the more tickets they need, we deliver them when they ask, and we try to keep track of them. And they put them in the box, and we go and we pick them up. And each ticket is worth $10. This year we've changed it a little bit. Merchants can request tickets that are worth $100 a piece, and that way they don't have an enormous volume of tickets for people who buy larger purchases, mattresses, furniture, anything over $1,000.
Okay, so it's the $10 tickets, so you're able to keep track of
$10,
it that way.
right, and $100 tickets, so that when they come back in, we keep track of who had what roll. Then when the rolls come back in, if they didn't use a whole roll, we sit down, check the numbers, do the math, and calculate each single one is worth $10, and then it goes into the formula. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think it,
Well, yeah.
Mr. Smith, and the chamber and the relationship with the city in the last 10 years has come a long way, and I think we're in a great place right now. I agree with Rick. I think it's great. But nothing will create a wall, like Ken said, any quicker than math and numbers. And I don't want to see us arguing over what the amount. So now we know there's tickets will be sold from November the 2nd through the 16th.
Mhm.
The total number of the tickets will multiply the sales tax off of that, which is 4 cents.
4 cents.
That'll be multiplied times 0.33.
Okay.
That's what I needed to know.
Correct. We already have 17 people signed up, so
Outstanding.
That's
Paisley,
where-
while you're standing there, I have a question.
Yes.
If I went and bought $100 item, wouldn't I rather have 10 tickets instead of one ticket?
that's right. Well, we're going to do 2 different drawings, but those $100 tickets are really reserved for purchases over 1,000. But we will draw from the $100 pile, and we will draw from the $10 pile. So,
Okay.
is that good? That work? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And then, when does the chamber get their check?
After the funds are collected, verified, so usually, they've got, first of all, we don't get the sales tax back from that until 2 months later.
Right.
It's been verified, February, they get their check.
So in February is when,
Or March.
Or March, whenever we get the money. I mean, it's
so but it'll be paid to the chamber after we receive
after we receive it.
November and December's.
Right.
So will they maybe get 2 checks, our November check and then the December?
I don't see that,
Probably be just one check.
one check.
Well, I think the devil's in the details, and I know this is the first year, but I just don't want to see this great relationship that we've built over 10 years deteriorate. I want it to move forward and get stronger, so.
Well, this is the first year of this particular agreement, but the working with the city and the $30,000 supplement, not supplement, but $30,000 contractual agreement with the city's been in place for, well, might be that 10 years you're talking
It's
about.
it's been there for a long time.
This way the chamber has a chance to do much better,
Absolutely.
much better.
Incentive. And Paisley, we think you're doing a great job, or I'm sorry, I can't speak for the council. I think you're doing a great job. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your good information. Any other discussion?
We think you're doing a great job too.
Well, Nick's piggyback. He moved my chair a minute ago, so I wouldn't believe him. My chin, never mind. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Gerba,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Yes.
Next item is number 2, reports, boards, commissions, city officials. Nothing this evening?
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Item 3 is consider approving resubmittal of the final plat of Stone Mill Phase, was that 4?
4.
For the name change from 3N Development LLC to 4N Development LLC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, are there, since we weren't provided a new plan, I'm gonna just, be the devil's advocate here and ask for some reassurance that the only change in that plat is in the name.
The name of
3N
the
to
owner of
4N.
the plat.
Okay, thank you.
They just forgot an N. Put another one in there.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Skirbo,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Opitz,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes. Next item is 4, that's the city manager's report, information purposes only.
First, the City Hall skylight project has been completed. We have had a blue tarp that has shrouded the stained glass of the dome of the City Hall for much longer than I've been here. That tarp has done little to abate the rain that falls in buckets in the middle of the lobby. That has been repaired, has been through 2 rainstorms, one of them rather heavy, and we find that we now have a dry lobby after the repair is done. Also, while it does not allow the stained glass, which is really quite beautiful in the dome, it does not allow that to be seen from the outside of the building. I don't know how many people really slowed down at 35 miles an hour to take a look up at the dome as they drove by. But it does now allow enough light through the canopy that has been placed over it to really light up the stained glass. And it really is quite beautiful. And if you do have an opportunity, please come by City Hall. We'd love for you to stand there. The one thing that we have noticed is there's an echo in the middle of the lobby, a rather pronounced echo, and you can't stand anywhere within the middle part of the lobby speaking in a whisper and not be heard by several people all around the various offices around City Hall.
Is that a warning?
That is a warning. And also, well, take it like you want. Also, I wanted to report that since July the 1st and Arnold showing up as our Public Works Director, that we have completed 6 road repairs and improvements. And that has been accomplished in 60 days. First of all, Ranchwood, out by Ranchwood Elementary, we have in fact replaced 2 panels of the street, as well as repairing the sidewalk and making it compliant with ADA, including the handicap ramps in the by Ranchwood Elementary. Ken, one that you'll like, Von Elm and Janine, we replaced the entire intersection, and I've got to tell you that the only complaint that we heard was when we took the dip out of the street. One of the residents called to complain that now he couldn't watch the traffic bottoming out as they went across that intersection, and he evidently had quite a time sitting on his porch watching people hit that. We also replaced the intersection at Vandement and Fairbanks. Cambridge and Abbeywood, we replaced the curb, the gutter, and also a panel across the street where we are having some real problems with unstable soil causing concrete creep, where it butts against one another and blows up the street and all the curbs and everything like that. I can also tell you that it happens under houses because I've had to put piers under the corner of my house to jack it back up from unstable soil. Cambridge and Yukon Parkway, the panel repair, talked about there. And then also you approved some time ago a cost-sharing plan on Frisco Road. That was completed last Friday. It is a double chip and seal. and it actually widened the roadway and improved the drainage ditches along both sides. Very good project. Arnold, we appreciate your work. We appreciate the work of your streets department, and we appreciate the work of Brewer Construction, which helped us with all of those things. I will also tell you that we have completed the first week of operation, albeit a training week, for the street sweeper. I can also tell you that we are removing 10 cubic yards of material from our streets on a daily basis. Now, ultimately, that will go down. That is quite a lot of material, but ultimately it will go down as we move throughout the community and get all the material off the curbs and the gutters. So we feel very good about that. We're now trying to move into normal operation, which we are still working on the exact schedule, but we're going to work on our arterial streets every day throughout the week, and then the last 4 hours of each working day, and there will be 4 working days, we will move out into the residential areas. We think that that will afford us the opportunity to get throughout the community and get the debris picked up off the street and keep it out of our storm drain system. Also, I'd like to remind you that this Friday at 9:30 in the morning will be the open house for the new fire station. The ribbon cutting will be at 9:30, followed by comments by the mayor, as well as the fire chief, and then followed by tours for anybody that hadn't had the opportunity to walk through the new fire station. We encourage you to come. Additionally to Friday's event, which will be from 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning, on Saturday we'll have a general open house to the public that begins at 10 and goes until noon for everybody to go that didn't get to go on Friday and still wants to, can go and take tours of the new fire station. Next, we've got a West Nile virus problem in the state of Oklahoma. I have in front of me what is being handed out free of charge by the Canadian County Health Department. If you have still pools of water, whether they be large or small, I encourage you to contact the Canadian County Health Department. Get this particular application, which you just throw down. It is not a chemical. This happens to be a natural insecticide for mosquitoes, and help everybody stop the spread of mosquitoes and the viruses and the diseases that they carry. And the last thing, Mayor, I discovered some weeks ago that we do not have a roster of all of the mayors, presidents, council members, officers that have served this city from its beginning. I can tell you that tonight I hope to start what will be a at least once monthly Yukon moment. Tonight, I would tell you that Yukon was incorporated on April the 16th, 1901. The first meeting was held in the first week of May, 1901. And I can also tell you that late in the first meeting of June, because there were many special meetings that were held, they were meeting 2 or 3 times a week during those first weeks, months. But the first revenue for the city of Yukon was registered the first meeting of June 1901. There were, the city had collected $193.51. 4 of those were licenses to saloons downtown, and 2 of them were for fines for operating gambling houses within the limits of Yukon. $193.51 was the total balance for the entire city at that time. With that, Mayor, I'm done.
I'll just go to number 5, new business. No new business. Let's go to council discussion. Mr. McCarron.
Well, from my standpoint, I was really delighted to see the recycling thing that Jeannie brought up tonight. I think that's pretty important. We're gonna, I think, in the very near future, certainly be addressing a lot more things involving recycling, all kinds of different things. Appreciate the Yukon Coalition folks showing up tonight and talking to us. That was pretty nice. I'm always glad to hear stuff, especially from the kids doing good things. I will have a third feral cat meeting on Monday the 10th at the police department again. So far they have been very good meetings, and I look forward to coming up with a formal proposal that we'll bring to the council at some time here within the next couple of months, and actually bringing it to the Mike Ziegler and our legal folks first, and then make sure it's something that we can get our hands around and address. And once again, I just kind of like to know where the street sweeper's going to be, so I'd probably ask Grace for a schedule of the street sweeper and some of the additions. I've had a couple of folks ask about that. But all in all, I'll say it again, Yukon is a great place to live, and I appreciate it more every day.
Mr. Gerba.
I'm just going to piggyback on what Mike said about the Yukon Coalition. I think it's a great example of grassroots activism. There's a lot of visibility throughout the community, which I think is fantastic. I just think it's terrific that they're taking all their time and efforts to make tomorrow a better place for kids and to give them healthy role models to follow. So my hat's off to you. Good job. One last thing I got is, Yukon's a pretty safe community. Unfortunately, we're not immune to all sorts of crimes, and I was just talking with some officers lately, and it seems like there's more and more break-ins here in people's driveways. And when you hear about somebody's car getting broken into, it's actually not really a break-in because they just open the door because people aren't locking their cars. So I'm saying even if it's in your driveway, it's a really good idea just to make sure your doors are locked. That way, somebody who comes by, you don't give an opportunity to rip you off. So just everybody be a little more diligent and just try to keep everything locked, and so we don't give anybody a free opportunity.
Mr. Smith.
Yes, I'd like to thank Arnold, our Public Works Director, for giving priority to that Von Janine intersection. I was getting a number of phone calls on it before it started, and you were very prompt as far as the projected time, when it was going to be started, when it was going to be complete. So I want you to know how much I appreciate that. Also, I had a call from a fellow that lives out on, I'm thinking it's Frisco Lane is the name of the road.
Frisco
northwest.
Drive.
Frisco Drive, northwest of Yukon. He's lived out there for a long time. He's a good citizen, business owner here in town, and I think he was somewhat surprised, and I'm a little bit surprised to find out that is not a dedicated Yukon street.
Almost got there one time.
Well, I wonder if that's something that we could look into, because that is a street that needs some maintenance, or possibly we could work hand in hand again with the county in the interim to maybe get that one chip and sealed. Maybe it's
We can't spend any money on that by statute until it is a dedicated street. Actually, Mitch started 60 days ago researching the issue and coming up with steps that need to be taken by the citizens that live in that area. Actually, the street itself is owned on each side to the center by the abutting property owners. And there are certain steps which they can take to make sure that it does get dedicated. When it is dedicated, then we can, because right now it's a private drive. It's not a county road. It's not a city road. So when it's dedicated, then we can go out there and do something about it and be happy to do it.
Yeah, well, that's good, and I'd like to, Mitchell, if we could talk about it from time to time, maybe an update every now and then would be helpful, so I'd be able to respond when I'm asked, and I appreciate that. I talked with John Knuppel, my representative for the Traffic Commission, about the possibility of adding a stop sign on Victoria to slow down the drag racing that's going on there. It's not really drag racing, obviously, but people are using that as a shortcut from Holly West. And please, folks, there's a school right there. That's a residential area. Until something can be done, slow down. Show some respect for the residents. We don't want people racing down our street any more than anyone else. So please be careful in that area. Also, I would like to ask Arnold if he could look into, some time ago on Snowmass and Cornwell, our neighborhood watch sign was hit by a car, pole was knocked down. Sign wasn't damaged, pole was damaged, but it never came back. City truck, they threw it in the city truck and took it, and we haven't seen it since. So if that's something you could look into for me, I would certainly appreciate that. Snowmass and Cornwell, yes, sir. And let's see, one last thing. The non-smoking resolution, I personally think is a very good idea, and I did expect to have people come up, non-smokers come up and say that it was a good idea. I did not expect to have an active smoker, and congratulations. Wish you luck on your attempts to quit, and I hope you succeed in that. But I felt good that even a smoker is in favor of a resolution against smoking on city property. So I hope that's something that we can all get behind, and that resolution happens quickly. So that being said, have a great night, and that's all for me, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Opitz.
The fire department. We're all finished with that fire department, and folks, if you haven't seen the new fire department, please come out Friday or Saturday and see the new fire department. Do a little tour, because you're going to see a state-of-the-art facility like you've never seen before, and it's going to be amazing to you. Now, we're all done. We're all finished with that. All the bills are in. I think they're all paid, aren't they, Grayson?
They're all paid.
All right. So
Well, they're paid. We have not paid everybody because we're still waiting on a couple of little things, but
we're basically finished with it. So please come out and see it, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and come out and visit with the fire people, see what they think about it, because we have a great fire department in this city. We have a great police department in this city, and we have some great people in this city. And you visitors that come tonight, thank you so much for coming and sharing. Come again? Okay, he says the fire station was under budget. That's a good thing. But back to what I was saying, you visitors that come tonight and share, it's because you care about Yukon. And I like that, because I care. I'm a citizen of Yukon. Just because they let me in, because I'm from western Oklahoma, I just kind of snuck in under the veil. But it's a great city, and I'm really, really proud to be here, and I'm really, really proud of our city and the city council here. And I just want to thank you for coming and sharing with us. And please feel free, as the mayor said, to do that anytime. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I agree, Laura and Mitzi and Bill. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate the citizens' input. It's very important. As far as the tobacco resolution, I think that's just another step forward for our healthy cities, just becoming more and more aware of. It's amazing the cost. I mean, Governor Fallon talked about spending over $1 billion a year for preventable diseases. So thank you for being part of that. In that same vein, the Spirit Run happened last Saturday. Jeannie was there, other people. So thank you all for putting that on. Everyone did a great job to put on a great event. It was up, I think, about 25 people, or more people ran this year than they did last year. Right at 100 people. So it was a great event and goes for a worthy cause. Sherman Huff retired from Spanish Cove, and I went and saw Sherman off, and it was nice to see a great turnout for him. And Don Bloss is the new person over there that will be working at Spanish Cove. While I was there, I had opportunity to meet a lot of residents, and Arnold, you drew great praise for painting that yellow curb and how quickly you did it. But that makes us look good, and it's praise for all of us for thank you. So thank you so much for helping us to look good. Trash sweeper, thanks. Glad to hear about the good news. But again, I just encourage the citizens to be a part of that trash sweeper. There wouldn't be 10 yards in there every day if we got out there and we sweep up our grass and we sweep up, just pick things up when you go to the park. If you see some nasty cigarette butts or other pieces, just take pride in the community. It's your community. It's our community. Thank you for making it such a great community. No other business before the council? We're adjourned.